very first catfish? Probably not. I'm sure there are plenty. And if you don't know what a catfish is, it's somebody pretending to be somebody else using different person's pictures, identity, all that good stuff on social media and dating sites to get you to like them and maybe even get money out of it. Now, nobody got money from me. So anyway, let's go back to the story. Her name was, she called my house and we talked a little bit. Her name was Sandy and she was going to come to my party and we were going to get down. And by get down, I mean sex. So we were going to get down and have some fun. She's going to come out to the party. She called me with some drama, so I was on the phone with her half the time during my party until I think Weaver, my old friend Weaver, uh, Weaver, like told me, "Hey, Jamie Hayden's here. Jamie Hayden's here." I was like, "Oh my God, really?" And I went down to go find her and to try to summon up the courage to talk to her. I never did though. I did see her at the house, but there were so many. I mean, it was packed, and this was not a big duplex at all. I mean, it had 3 bedrooms, but I mean, it was a small kitchen area. There was, it wasn't a big duplex. It's 12 Cathy Ann in Belleville. If you ever want to drive by and see, I love that place actually. If I could, I'd go live there now. But I got a big ass house, so this is a little better. But anyway, so the party was going off and all this stuff was going on. Then my buddy Kyle shows up and he's dating this girl named Tiffany. And they're arguing for some reason, yelling outside my house. Danny Becker throws a beer bottle at the neighbor's house across the street. He calls the cops, just like every high school party. It gets broken up. And I had to talk Tiffany down because of Kyle. Those two were added and they ended up breaking up that night. And then that Sandy girl kept calling my house, but I was outside trying to talk Tiffany down, and we were all trying to clean up because the cops were on the way. The cops showed up, the house was clean. There was only 2 or 3 people at the house at the time. And the next day, I talked to that Sandy girl. The next day, Tiffany came over. It was Valentine's Day, and I think she liked me. I'm not 100% sure, but I think she liked me, and I ruined it for the stupid fucking catfish. So anyway, the next day, that Sandy girl was calling me and talking about she was coming out. She never showed up. This went on for a couple weeks. Never showed up. So finally, my buddy Weaver. Now Weaver, picture this big ass, huge, monstrous brown van that he drove. He comes over one night. We're hanging out, and I'm like torturing myself over this dumb bitch who was calling and telling me she's coming over. She had my address. She said she drove by but never stopped. She said she drove by my work. I worked at KFC in high school. Yes, KFC. Anyway, she never came over, and she kept just stringing me along, and I was falling for it because I didn't know any better. I was 17, didn't know better. And this went on for a couple of weeks, and then finally I said, "Fuck it, I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you." So Weaver's like, "I'll drive you out there if you want to go out there." So Weaver and I get in the old brown van and start heading towards Granite City. Now, this was before, we had like a navigation or anything. Like, this was 1998. We had nothing. Nothing. So we had to follow directions how to get there. We had no idea. She's like, "I live by the high school." We were driving out. This is 2 o'clock in the morning. We fucking found the high school, driving around. I called her from a payphone. No cell phones. That's the other thing. What happens if me and Weaver ended up getting something messed up in Granite City? you know. So that's just another disappointment. Couldn't find her. Called her the next day. I was like, "Look, I'm done with this. I can't go on with you saying you're going to do this, and I could try to come find you, and nothing was going on. This is bullshit. I thought we had something, because we both liked each other, and we were writing fucking letters and sending them back and forth as well. Pathetic. I was pathetic back then. And Shannon, who was watching a minute ago, knows how pathetic I was all the way into 2000. Anyway, I'll get to that one eventually too. If anybody cares, I don't think anybody cares about my romantic life, my past romantic life. Really only had like 3 successful relationships, and one of them I ended up getting married. Anyway, so finally I was done with it, and summer came around, and I started dating this girl named Marcy. And Marcy was awesome. She was a cool chick. She was a little bit younger than me. I was just 18, and she was 16, getting her license. And I would drive her back and forth to driver's ed, and then I'd pick her up, and we'd go hang out until I had to go to work at KFC. And then I'd go to KFC and go, pick her up and hang out with her, and it was good, and she was fun. It was funny. Her mom was Japanese, and every time she would say, "I don't want Marcy to have sex. No sex for Marcy." So we called her Marcy. Marcy, no sex. Um, I wonder what happened to her. I haven't talked to her since early like 2004, 2005, right before I got married. She was really cool though. I like Marcy. Oddly enough, she dated that Kyle guy too, Kyle Stevens. Uh, but still, I like that Tiffany girl. I was really upset about that, and I should have gone for her rather than. I mean, she came over on Valentine's Day and brought me flowers. That Tiffany girl did, but I was still trying to get with the Sandy girl. You know why? Because she's such a wanted to have sex with me. What a fucking dumb shit I was. So anyway, a couple months went by, and I was I had joined the army, and I was August 4th. I was leaving. I broke up with Marcy. Uh, and was getting ready to go, and she got a hold of me at KFC because I think my mom changed our phone number at some point because she couldn't get a hold of me, or my mom kept hanging up on her. Something. My mom knew all about this. So did my sister. So she couldn't get a hold of me, so she got a hold of me when I was at work at KFC, my high school job. And you know what? I'm not gonna hide what I was. I worked at KFC and smelled like fucking bleach and chicken every day. Bleach and chicken. Hashtag bleach and chicken. Bleach and chicken. Anyway, so she found me. We started talking and kind of reconciled. She's like, "Oh, you're going to the army? Well, I got to come see you before then." I was like, and at this point, I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. You're going to come see me." And of course, she didn't. We talked, and I at that point, I knew what it was. It was like a fucking pen pal. We would write and talk on the phone, and then when I left for the army, she did the same thing. She would write me. She would call me. She would write me and ask me to call her, and she told me she wanted to marry me, all this bullshit. And finally, I get home in '99, and I stopped writing her. I didn't even tell her I went home from when I left the army. I didn't say anything about that, but somehow she found me again. I don't know how. I don't know. I mean, we were living. So when I got home, my mom moved from Belleville, which is kind of a bigger township area. I mean, Belleville East, the high school I went to, I think had 2,300 people in the school. I think there was over 600 in my graduating class, it may not be huge to some people, but it was to me, especially where we moved. My mom moved to a town called Trenton, where if you take Belleville East had 2,300 people in the school, Trenton had 2,500 in the town. So it was a big difference. And also 30 minutes away from where I'd lived before. How the fuck did she find me? That was my question. So I humored her again, and she kept talking about marriage, and she's trying to get her life straight, and she wants to be with me, and she sent me pictures of her, and I was like, okay, well, maybe this will work. And then finally, I want to say, I think it was no, it was before Julia, sometime sometime before I met Julia, which was the girl I dated when I lived in Trenton. Um, I stopped talking to her and I gave her everything. I told her, I was like, I know what you're doing. I know we're never going to see each other. There's no point. I'm done. Don't call me again. Lose this number. It's over. And it was over. I had never heard from her again. I thought about it once in a while because I think about a lot of stuff from my past, especially past romances. Not that I dwell on them. I have dwelled on a couple of them, like Ellen from Germany and uh, one recently, a girl named Caitlin. But like I try not to dwell on the past too much, but I do think about it, and I think about how dumb I was, more than anything. Like, how fucking stupid are you to fall for that shit, dude? Come on. I know now, like if I get a friend request by some woman, I vet her like big time, make sure it's legit. Wonder why she's trying to friend me, whatever. I do that with pretty much anyone. I don't trust anybody, and it's because of this bitch. I don't trust anybody. So fast forward to summer 2020, I get a message from a girl named Sandy on Instagram. I'm like, who is this? And of course, right away, I knew who it was, but I didn't recognize the last name because the last name did not match the last name she told me about, and her name was Sullivan, way back then. So I'm like, then of course, seeing the show Catfish on MTV, which I absolutely love that show, I realized that's what happened to me back then. I was being catfished. Luckily, she didn't get anything out of me. I never gave her a dime, never fucking gave her really that much of my time. I just lost probably 2 relationships because of that bitch. That Tiffany, which I can't like 100% say whether or not we would have dated, but I think she liked me, and everybody said that they thought that she liked me, all my friends. And then maybe Marcy. I think Marcy. Anyway, I don't remember. I'd have to go back, way back into the brain pan to figure out if that was a thing. Anyway, she messages me, and I talk to her, and she's like, I just want to explain myself and tell you what was going on. I was like, you were my catfish. That's what it was. Or I was your catfish, whatever, however it works. And I talked to her. I gave her the chance to explain. And then one day, out of the blue, like I told her everything, how pissed off I was and how angry it made me, and how she was the reason I had big time trust issues, because I do. Unfortunately, I have big time trust issues. And I'm gonna have to go back and watch this. I swear I see something in the mirror back there. It might be because I keep moving my hand. Anyway, so I gave her the chance. I talked to her. I let her call me through Facebook Messenger, and then I saw her, like, who she really was, and like, not my type, but it was a huge difference from the person that she showed me who she was in the picture. And I'm not a big Marcy. Yeah, Marcy, no sex. Yep. She will go down in history. Marcy, no sex. But anyway, yeah. So I let her air her feelings and how she felt, because I'm a fair person for the most part. And I was like, all right, that book is fucking closed. Because after, okay, I'll be honest, after Elizabeth passed away, I started going back. I didn't know what to do. When my wife died in 2017, I didn't know what to do with myself. And I did start thinking about all the women from the past. And I started like reliving the ghosts of girlfriend pasts. And I went through almost all of them that I could remember. Even Jenica, she wasn't really a girlfriend, but she was a romance type thing. But like Kim Schaefer is one I wanted to talk to. I never did. I pussied out. But Tanya, uh, Bethany, that's a good story. Like Julia, all these. There's a lot of them. Tara. There's a lot of them. I can't even go through all of them. But I revisited these women and tried to, like, Miranda, atone for the way I was, I guess. I mean, it's been, for some of them, it had been 20 years at this point. Like Marcy, like Tara, like Julia was 17 or 18 years, and me and her actually ended up getting in an argument. But whatever. That's what I think would have happened with Kim too. Um, Raisha, I even talked to Raisha a little bit. Not much about that. That wasn't really like a big deal, because we were 14, I think, when we dated. It was high school. But I went like down the list and talked to just about every girl I had dated before I got to Elizabeth. Even Ellen, who lives in Germany, I still talk to her actually, and it was good for my soul. And then closing the book on the catfish finally was really, really good for my soul. I'm not going to say that I can trust better or trust more, but letting her know how I felt and what she did to me it meant a lot. And honestly, I don't give a shit how she felt, because she fucking tortured me for the better part of 18 months. So that's what I have to say to her. She told me about how miserable her life is and blah 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 blah. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm sorry, but you did this to more than just me, because she acted like another girl to my friend Jeremy. She acted like another girl to another one of my friends. So she told me, she admitted to me, she was 6 or 7 different people, and doing this to 6 or 7 different people back then, back in the 90s. And I think she still does it. So I'm not 100% sure, but I blocked her on Instagram. I blocked her. She messaged me after I was done. I didn't block her. I wasn't going to do that, but she messaged me. She's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I was like, "I don't ever talk to you again. Block. You're done." So I looked at my block list today, and that's or yesterday sometime, and that's what I was like. I need to do Rayzor's romances about my goddamn catfish. So that's the story. I got catfished for the most part. She didn't really get much out of me. I'll like she tried to get when I talked to her last summer. She's like, "Where do you live?" I'm like, "I'm not fucking telling you. You kidding me? You're out of your mind if you think I'm going to tell you where I live." Listen, I don't let anyone know where I live. I don't trust people to know where I live. I think Brett, Carlos, Tony, and my in-laws are the only people that know where I live. I mean, my sister. I don't think my sister even knows where I live. I just don't. I'm not like super private, like obviously because I do these live streams and stuff, and I share like pretty much damn near everything that's on my mind. Brush your teeth. Sorry. But I don't tell anyone where I live. I like my privacy. I don't want people just popping in whenever they want. I fucking hate that. People used to do that when we lived in Trenton. My mom left that front door open all the fucking time. And I remember walking out of my bedroom. Just my bathroom is right there by my bedroom. I walked out of my fucking bedroom in my underwear. My mom had these three really hot bartenders at the house. My mom tended bar. She's a manager at a bar called Seven West out in Trenton. And I walked out, and Jamie and Colleen, and there's another one. They all three were sitting at my kitchen table. I'm just sitting there in my underwear. I'm like, oh shit. Luckily, back then I was super hot. So, yes. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got for tonight. I'll do another one. I've got one about a girl who. I'll just tell the story. There was this girl in high school that I was into, not like Jamie, but I was into her. We met between classes at one point, and she was friends with my best friend Tony, and and God, I can't. It's hard to not do this without saying her name. Anyway, she had gigantic boobs, and yeah, I love boobs. Like I'm not gonna lie, and we would meet every day, and it seemed like we had a really good rapport going. I was like, yeah, Tony, I kind of dig her. I mean, can you, just like in high school, like, can you find out what she thinks of me? So he goes up to this girl, and let's call her Jillian. That's not her real name. He goes up to Jillian and says, "Hey, what do you think of Ray Merrick and my best friend?" And she apparently, with a straight face, just looked him dead in the eyes and says, "I try not to." That's some fucking savage shit right there. 17-year-old savage shit. What do you think of Ray Merrick? I try not to. Get the fuck out of here. So the article, so my Rage of Rayzor website, that I did all these Rayzor romances. I changed the names and everything like that because I want to do other ones, but I don't want to out the people because you know how it is. They'll get mad or they'll threaten to sue you. But yeah, I said Jillian only had one good thing or one thing going for her. Yeah, good stuff. High school, good times. 17-year-olds, hormones, boobs. I don't think I've changed all that much. Anyway, I'm gonna put the kids to bed. You guys have a good evening. I'll do another one of these if anybody wants to listen to me talk about my old romances. I've got there's one about Jenny. She was from the Philippines. That was the Philippines? No, Korea. One of the Koreas. I don't remember. This was back in 2000, 2001 when SARS was happening, and so everybody asked me if she had SARS for some reason. Her name was Jenny. Manny says her name was Jenny Hoare. I thought it was Jenny Ho, but I don't remember. But some of the best sex I ever had. Anyway, until next time. Tomorrow night, the Horror Syndicate Discourse, we're talking about The Witch. So I'm going to go watch that after I put the kids to bed. Have a good evening. Let me know if you want to see me talk more about my romances, because I do have some stories. It's like How I Met Your Mother. It all like Ted led up to the mother, which I have a theory, like how my life almost parallels that, except for it didn't take me forever to meet my wife, but like the mother in How I Met Your Mother died too early. So I asked yesterday, I ended up erasing it, who's my Robin? Because Ted was all about his best friend Robin. It's like, who the fuck is my Robin? Maybe it's Tita. Anyway, that's it. I'll talk to you guys some other time.